Hey friends, it's Cass with Garden House Treasures. Thanks so much for stopping in. Today I'm excited to take you all along with me as I try out ResinCrete for the first time. I've had this crescent moon candle holder mold for quite some time, and I wanted to try it with ResinCrete for the very first time, so let's go ahead and get started. I got some Jade Diction ResinCrete off of Amazon. And it is a 10:3 base to water ratio. So it's going to be 10 parts of the ResinCrete powder to 3 parts water, and that is by weight in grams. This is my Crescent Moon candle holder mold that my husband got me a couple Christmases ago. It's got this extra piece that comes out. I like to keep it in for when I'm pouring this mold so that I have a little divot to put my candle in. That's what this does, it creates that divot. And so I like to put that in. It goes right in this circular part of the mold. Hopefully you can kind of see from demonstration where that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out my ResinCrete. I had to kind of take a guess at how much I was going to need for this mold. I went ahead and did 200 grams of ResinCrete powder, which in turn meant I needed 60 grams of water. And the 200 grams ended up being the perfect amount of ResinCrete for this mold. So if you're using this mold with ResinCrete, now you know 200 grams of ResinCrete, 60 grams of water is an excellent amount for this mold. Now, when I first heard about ResinCrete, I really wasn't that interested in trying it, just for the sole fact that I could tell it was a lot more fragile than epoxy resin. I would watch videos of other people trying it and things would be breaking off as they're demolding it. Whereas with epoxy resin, it just really doesn't break. For the most part, it's extremely sturdy. And so I just wasn't really interested in the ResinCrete. What made me finally want to try it is the fact that the ResinCrete is not flammable, unlike epoxy resin, which is flammable. And I have several candle holder molds that have been sitting around that I was hesitant to try with the epoxy resin for that reason. Now, of course, you can put electric tea lights in a candle holder made of epoxy resin, but I personally like to use real tea lights. So that's what made me want to try the ResinCrete. And what I didn't realize is that it's actually only a 30-minute demold time, which is very, very exciting for impatient crafters like me. And I know I don't usually show me mixing things together just because it's long and boring. I don't think people really want to sit through that, but I wanted you all to see, in case there's anybody watching that hasn't tried ResinCrete before, I just wanted you to see how thin this mixture is. Even though there's a lot more powder than water, it's not going to be a thick paste. The ResinCrete really kind of dissolves into the water, and it makes it a very, very thin mixture. And of course, because the demold time for this is so short, your working time is going to be pretty short. So make sure you have all your mica powders or coloring agents ready before you mix your ResinCrete with your water so that you can mix it up as quickly as possible. I went ahead and did a blue, purple, and kind of a tealish green for this first moon that I'm pouring. And I'm just going to pour them each separately, and then I will kind of try to swirl them together later with a popsicle stick. So the instructions on the ResinCrete said to just gently tap it to try and get any air bubbles to rise up to the top. It also said to shock it. It wasn't specific, it just said to shock it. And the only way I knew to do that was with my heat gun. So I went ahead and used that on it real quick. It does warm up as it cures, so it makes sense. And now we wait. I went ahead and gave it an hour to cure. So this is 1 hour later. It's very firm. It feels very firm on top, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my demold. And of course, demolding is my absolute favorite part of the process, but if it's not your favorite part and you'd rather not watch this entire thing, you can go ahead and skip ahead to this timestamp to see the finished product. Here we have it, demolded, all finished. I was so excited with how it turned out. The ResinCrete, wow, really, really love it. There is a little bit of a sharp edge around the part where you insert the candle. I can go ahead and take a little bit of sandpaper to that. It'll sand right off and it'll be great. I will say I burned a candle in this for a while, and the tip of the moon, it did turn white. It did turn like the original color of the ResinCrete, which was disappointing, but not a deal breaker for me. Thank you all again for stopping in and checking out this video. If you liked it and it inspired you to try ResinCrete, go ahead and give me a big toe thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it, and subscribe for future videos. I hope you learned something new today. God bless.